Well, Arise News is still awaiting live feed from Florida in the United States, where U.S. President Donald Trump is scheduled to actually speak to Americans and, of course, the world on the reasons behind the arrest of the Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife, and, of course, the American intervention through its security forces, both the military and law enforcement officers in that South American country. Of course, earlier on, we had brought you details about world condemnation globally by some members of the international community, leaders, and of course others who are also in support of Trump's action. Arise News will keep you up to date as we await the feed right here. But we'll have to go ahead with our program for now. We'll begin with the deepening political crisis in the People's Democratic Party, with special focus on the conflict of interest, which seems to have ripped apart the friendship that once existed between the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Wike, and the Governor of Oyo State, Makinde, Governor Bala of Bauchi State, and of course the home governor of his own Rivers State, similarly Fubara. During the week, Wike and Makinde embarked in a clash, and both of them were prominent figures of the formidable breakaway G5 governors of the PDP in the build-up to the 2023 general election. Today, all what seems to exist between both men is a drawn battle line, blistering exchange of hot words, and so on. While Makinde accuses Wike of promising to hold down PDP for President Tinubu in 2027, Wike has denied it as, quote, a wicked lie in an end-of-year media chat. Now, the FCT minister traces Makinde's years of political failures until he handed over PDP structures to him, which eventually led to his winning. And this also comes as Wike is entangled in another political battle with Governor Bala of Bauchi State, who has accused him of being behind his travels with anti-graft agency, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. And in his home state of Rivers State, Wike and his estranged political godson and governor, similarly Fubara, appear to be back at each other's throat once again. It seems Fubara's defection to APC, making him the leader of the party in the state, has ignited fresh tension between both men. Since in Fubara's recent, quote, backing dog statement, and in Wike's response that his backing brought Fubara to power. Well, to help us take a look at the conflict of interest that has pitched Wike against two PDP governors and Fubara in Rivers State, his home state, we have joining us in the studio a former presidential media advisor, Sani, who will help us to take a look at all of this. Thank you so much, Omar, for joining us.
Thank you, Somna. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, same here too. Happy New Year. Good to have you in 2026.
Yeah.
The political year before the main year.
Before
the election year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so good to have you. I mean, a whole lot of things have been happening globally. We've seen what's happened in Venezuela too. I don't know if you have to add one thing before we go into what's going on now.
Well, I think U.S. President Donald Trump has been, intervening in several countries. Perhaps he has said these countries are engaged in one misdeed or the other. He has tried to intervene in the Nigerian conflict situation, saying that there is a Christian genocide in Nigeria.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. He has also tried to intervene in Venezuela, in some other countries. Now, this intervention, to me, I believe that it may be, an attempt to undermine the sovereignty of these countries, but nevertheless, America's role is very important because countries are now becoming more, more people disoriented. They are no longer interested in making their people happy. They are doing things they just want to do anyhow. And so by his coming in to these things, it brings sanity into the system and sends a message to other countries that you cannot treat your citizens anyhow and you get away with it. So to me, I do not begrudge Trump in this aspect?
Well, a whole lot of people have been reading meanings to it, including with what's happening in Nigeria. If it's not a signal towards Venezuela is a very strong country in Southern America, South America, and then of course Nigeria too, where he has his eyes the largest country in terms of population here, and so people have been reading meanings. I don't know if you've been reading meanings to that. I mean, if we're President Tinubu by now, I mean, how will you be reading the signals?
The signals are not, the optics are not good, because even though the Minister of Foreign Affairs has come out to say they were aware of the strikes, but it does not appear that the government was aware of the strikes, because when Trump posted on his Truth Social, in the social media, he said that he's giving Nigeria Christmas gifts. And he went further to say this is what the reasons why he's doing it. And the Nigerian government is giving a different reason why Trump is doing it. So I don't think Tinubu will be sleeping with two eyes closed, as it is now.
Well, he's in Europe enjoying his short break, actually, before he goes on for his meeting. But let's come back to our topic for the day, the issues that have been ongoing. I mean, former River State Governor Nyesom Wike, who's now FCT Minister, in clash with 3 governors. I mean, and people are beginning to ask, how much fight can he afford at this moment? I mean, as a minister, he doesn't have the sort of immunity that governors have. One minister taking on 3 governors, 1 in his home state, 2 in his party, the PDP. What have you been making of all of this? Well,
I will say that his benefactor, Senator John Mbata, has captured it in one of the videos that were going viral. He said that Wike is a crisis-loving gentleman, you know. So,
and Wike appreciated him for using that word, gentleman.
Yes, but to me, I believe that that gentleman was used in the context in which the legendary fella Anikulapo Puti, he used to say, "I no be gentleman at all." This was the context in which Mbata used it, but he appreciated it because he said he's a gentleman. But nevertheless, you see, you can't take people all the time. You are in crisis. You are in fighting this. You are fighting that. You are fighting this. The reason why all these things are happening, they don't have any problem with him. Neither does he have any problem with them, but it is the problem of the PDP. And they believe there is a mole within the party entrenched to destabilize the party.
I don't understand. Before you continue, let's get that very clear. Are you saying that these gentlemen are still friends on a personal note, but the major cause of the crisis is what's happening in the PDP?
I am not very close to them, so I would not be able to answer that.
Okay, I wanted you to
I would not be able to answer that, very clearly. But what I'm trying to tell you is that prior to this, they were close. They were interacting. Nothing was wrong. But when these things began to show that our party was now being, shepherded towards the doldrum, then there was the need for them to come out, and that is why they came out. And the reason why Wike is, fighting so hard. This is the first time that the party will make a national working committee without him having any single member of the national working committee. And he believes that the party should have allowed him to have a member. And they felt, no, you cannot eat your cake and have it. You cannot be working for APC and then want to be imposing people on us in the PDP. So there is no way we can trust you. And so all those things he is saying, the issues he took to court and so forth and so on, they are just tissues of lies. One, I have it here, I can show you. Before the convention, there were congresses in almost 12 states or 13.
Out of the 14 or 15 that were
yes, left. Because the only states that were remaining were Anambra, Ebonyi, and Cross River. These were the only outstanding states that there were no congresses. And the reason is because there was a court order that barred holding those congresses in those states from Enugu Federal High Court. And so the party, aligned with it. And if you are going to convention, what is required is 2/3 of the states. and we have to trace of the states, went to that convention. So for him to be, he is just, trying to delegitimize the convention by adding, say, we have 16 states, there were no conventions.
Yeah, but if you had listened to what he said clearly that if the PDP leaders had listened to him, that the party wouldn't be where it is right now, to the extent that people like Governor Bala cannot even appoint or anoint his successor. I mean, is PDP such in a disarray at the moment that going into the next elections that to the extent that incumbents cannot even, through one way or the other, benefit from the process of having been members of the party by anointing successors?
Well, that one is just his, general statement. The party will very soon overcome all these things. The Supreme Court has already settled this matter. But
INEC has not identified with, the PDP led by Turaki.
Don't worry. The Supreme Court just recently, in the case of INEC versus SDP, they have clearly stated that INEC has no business recognizing who is who in a political party. It is the party themselves that have the right to decide within themselves who is who. INEC is not empowered by law to interfere in the activities of the internal affairs of political parties. Similarly, the Supreme Court has held just very recently in the decided case of Nenadu Usman versus Julius Abure at the Supreme Court. They clearly stated that internal party issues are not justiciable. No court in the land has the power to intervene, to go into, because courts are seen as associations. And once the courts begin to delve into political parties, then they become members of those associations.
Yeah.
And so they are not expected to delve into the activities of those associations up to the extent of giving judgment. No, it is those parties that will decide for themselves how they want to run the party. So we are not oblivious of that, and we are not saying whether INEC decides to recognize us or not is immaterial.
For those who want to go into the next election, what do you now do to them? Because people who are rattled by what's happening in the PDP, you just lost
what we are waiting for is the upper court, the superior courts, to now affirm those judgments they have already passed. Once they affirm it, then the matter is already over.
Yeah, because INEC is also waiting for that.
Yeah,
but if you look at what Wike said, he was so bitter and so aggrieved to the extent of saying that, look, with the way PDP is right now, if he eventually leaves the PDP, whether for APC or any other party, that the PDP will finally collapse.
But we have told him to go. Why is he still struggling to stay?
That he has lots of structures in the states, from local government to zonal chapters and state chapters.
I don't know where he has structures. I don't know where he has structures.
He's been building them over
because
the years.
If he has been building them over the years, we don't know where those structures are existing. As far as we are concerned, we want him to leave. Let him leave the party and go to APC. Let him see how we are going to survive. We cannot harbor somebody who is very destructive. Now look at what he's saying. The reason why he set up his caretaker committee is because we, in our convention in Ibadan, the former NWC led by Damagun had already abdicated their positions. And so he was the one now who took it over and now formed. Now this is a convention you said is a tea party. This is a convention you said you do not recognize. And yet you are saying that because at that convention something happened, it is that thing that you are using now to do something. Is that not...
so he's legitimizing it through the back door.
Exactly. He's giving it legitimacy.
All right. Well, one of the key accusations by Governor Makinde against him is that he promised President Tinubu to hold down the PDP, to which Wike denies, saying that these are wicked lies. I don't know what you've been hearing.
No, to me, I don't believe that Governor Makinde will just flagrantly come out to lie against Wike, because he is not known to be a liar. He has not been known to be, somebody who likes to, the headlines, who wants to speak to people who I can itemize so many lies that Wike has said in the internet now. And while he denying this, that even denial is a lie. Because I am confident that Wike said so.
Well,
because
can you give us an instance? I mean,
where Wike? No. What I'm trying to tell you is Wike has said he can never be a minister. He has been a minister. He can never be vice president. He went and was looking for vice. Yeah, so many of them. I don't want to waste my time mentioning the lies of Wike. The lies are so many and so grievous that trying to discuss them will even be a time wasting ventures. But tell me, at one point where you found Makinde lying. Makinde is not even so a flamboyant person who wants to be, seen nationally talking, making noise, holding media chats, and so forth and so on, trying to...
Well, hasn't he forced Makinde to hold one media chat now? Because, I mean, the setting of Makinde actually look exactly like that of Wike, and people were saying that, look, looks like Wike is dictating the pace.
No.
And he also said during that media chat that Makinde is still, furious that he wasn't given a ministerial, a portfolio for one of his acolytes.
I don't think that the issue of portfolio is even relevant. Now, Makinde is a governor. Now, what will if the president says, okay, go and bring somebody, and you went and brought somebody, and the president says, no, I have somebody who can do it better. What is the problem there? Why should somebody be furious? He is the governor of the state. The portfolio he is asked to bring is from the state. Now, Makinde himself is sufficient for the state. So why should he be so furious about the ministerial position? It is Wike that wants the ministerial position because he's no longer a governor. He wants to be a minister. And then he is now telling us that he is begging Makinde to cool down. How can you tell them to cool down when you have already gotten your own and you are putting in your pocket?
So it was a case of the leader of the G5
yes,
amassing things for himself,
amassing
his
things
followers.
Yes.
Well, we've seen Ikpeazu and others, except people like Otom and maybe Makinde, who have been left out. But now let's talk about some of the revelations that have been coming out of the PDP of recent, and we just wonder what exactly is going on. How rattled did you feel that Governor Bala Mohammed, being chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, will be saying that he's been charged, for the allegations of terrorism financing against him, including by his commissioner, and he all traced this to Wike. Is Wike that powerful that he'll be controlling state institutions?
No, Bala Mohammed responded clearly in that interview. He said Wike says he has been in FCT. And he knows how powerful that seat is. And he says Wike sell land and then bribe the institutions. He said so. And so if he is bribing the institutions are playing to his... this. And EFCC, for instance, it came out to say, no, it's not true. Nobody can dictate to them. But this EFCC, is a case study in how EFCC should not function. Because this EFCC is an EFCC that the only people they go after is the opposition. They don't go after, they will make mouth. The same EFCC chairman said that if he does not prosecute Yahya Bello, he will resign. Yahya Bello is now even going to contest for Senate, of the Federal Republic. So who are they prosecuting?
He also got a presidential appointment of recent.
Yes, look at only the opposition. Now take a look. Malami is an opposition. They want to cripple him, make sure all his finances are no longer there so that he cannot support his
but I mean, if they've done one or two things, shouldn't they also be accountable to the Nigerian people? That's what people are saying, whether you're in the opposition or governing party, you should have answers.
But is it is it only the opposition that are not accountable to the Nigerian people? Are you not supposed to concentrate on the... Look at PDP during Obasanjo's period. Jole Tanko Yami was in PDP. Darie was in PDP. The Prayer Alamesiga was in PDP. The governor of Delta, Ebori, was in PDP, but he was still charging at them for corruption. That is how it should. It shouldn't matter which party you belong to. Right. Once you want to do your work, you do your work diligently so that Nigerians will trust you. But when you are doing the job only addressing the opposition, and look at what happened in Delta. The FCC came out to say this man, Okowa, was charged for 1.3 trillion corruption. Immediately he went back to APC. The matter is shut down, closed. So how can we trust the the EFCC and all this terrorism financing? And if you will make it look so much that people will now begin to even look at it as rubbish, when everybody is terrorism financing. People we know they cannot be terrorism financiers.
Well,
you now come on.
You are not the one who will say it here, because I mean the EFCC has better information.
We Nigerians have information, because the EFCC relies on Nigerians, we the masses, to give them information. They are not magicians.
All right. As we try to coast home now, I want you to talk about the alignment and realignment ahead of 2027. People say that PDP is not in the map. It's not in the picture at all. You would have seen Peter Obi moving to, the ADC instead of PDP. People have thought that he will go to the PDP, and then you've lost Governor Mutfwang of Plateau State and all of that. That the traffic is not going towards PDP. It's going to the ADC. Is the ADC an alternate party for the PDP? Because we say most of the leaders going there.
You see, most people tend to lose hope when a matter is stalled in the Nigerian courts, because they believe that the Nigerian courts has no capacity to be able to address these things very expeditiously as to allow them to participate fully. Now, these things, they influence decisions in terms of, and more so, this is 2026, time is of the essence in these things. Now, once the PDP is able to surmount this thing in good time, and the judgment comes in a very good time, the traffic will now shift. All the roads will now lead to the PDP.
Yeah, but what time is that going to happen? When is that going to happen?
Somebody
that's what people are saying. That,
somebody asked me.
They can't continue to wait. They have elections to prosecute.
Somebody
if you were running for an election, I'm very sure maybe you would have had a rethink whether to go to PDP or not.
No, somebody said to me, he said, Umar, I said, yes. I said, you look at just ordinary to talk about state of emergency by the Supreme Court. It took over 6 months or more. Now, how do you think that the Court of Appeal will be able to resolve this within reasonable time? I said, well, the issue is that there are two issues there differently. In our own issue, we have, apart from filing for appeal and filing for a stay, we have also entered an affidavit of urgency.
Okay.
Yes.
Asking the court to hasten.
Asking the court to hasten, because ours depend on timelines.
Yeah.
And those timelines are very crucial to the survival of our party. And we believe that the courts will do the right thing by coming up. I think the appeal court is trying to set up the panel. And so the panel may not take, because this is an appeal. Yeah. All the documentations are there and so forth. Should not take time for the appeal court to be able to resolve this matter.
All right. And what's been your reaction to Peter Obi's movement to the ADC? And of course, you have David Mark, you have Tambuwal, and a host of others. We had thought that Saraki will be moving to the ADC, but he says no, he's going to stay in the PDP to rebuild. And people say, well, it's convenient for him to say that because he doesn't have an election to run.
Yes.
Yeah. So what's been your reaction to
Well, Peter Obi's movement to ADC, we are still expecting him to come back.
To the PDP?
Yes, because once they denied him the ticket of the ADC, we will know where the ticket is going to. So once he is denied, he has only one option, to come back to the PDP. And when he comes back to the PDP, we will give him the ticket.
Well, the Obedient movement says if they do lose that ticket, they will stay in the ADC. They won't move away. No, that's not a statement by Obi himself.
No, that is not the view of all Obedient movement. It is only the view of the leader of the Obedient movement who says so. Okay. That is not sufficient to cover for that. Because if you look, this lecturer, Pat Otomi, said if Obi takes the vice presidential, he has lost his support. He will no longer support him. So there are so many things like that. So we will now dangle the carrot to Obi, and we are very confident that Obi will not look at that carrot and say no, because he knows that PDP has the structure, the PDP has the reach, and it has the followership and the acceptability.
And wouldn't it be too late by then? Because, I mean, party primaries would have happened in other political parties and all of that.
We don't even know when the party INEC is
hopefully in June or July, from what we keep hearing.
INEC is yet to release its own timetable. So we are not very, conversant with when the thing will happen. But when, and more so, the new Electoral Act has not been signed into law. And the new Electoral Act has the capacity to shift these things and make them, a little bit much more deeper. So we are hoping that with the new Electoral Act and with the expeditious nature that the Court of Appeal will handle our matter, that it will just be a matter of time that we will now be, seeing what Bob Marley used to call movement of the people.
All right. I guess by zoning your presidential ticket to the south, that could actually be a bargaining chip.
Exactly.
And like a ready-made platform for Obi to actually want to maybe have a rethink.
Yeah.
But just before I let you go very quickly, I mean, how do you think that the APC can, manage its own turbulence? I know you're not a member of the APC,
yes.
but I know when PDP was at the height of its powers, with so many governors coming in, including from the opposition party, that in itself contributed to the downfall of the PDP.
Yes.
How will APC handle this kind of things?
The implosion is much, and the promises are many. And those promises cannot be met. Nobody has the capacity to meet all those promises. Now, there are those who are on the ground, who are looking towards getting the ticket. There are those who decamped, and they want to get the ticket. And when any one of them loses the ticket, or they say, okay, what we are going to adopt is that you have the right of first refusal. Now, if that is what is being used, and the others believe, well, we are not going to get it, so what are we doing here? We can't get contract, we can't get ticket, we can't get anything, no appointment. The appointments are completely over now. So what is remaining? We have to check out.
So they have to jump ship.
Like Andrew.
All right, and just before I let you go also on this last one, the issues of a coalition talk.
Yeah.
The PDP and the ongoing talks of having a united opposition ahead of 2027 to battle President Tinubu. In one way or the other, we haven't spoken with the leaders of the PDP. Do you think that the PDP may like to back the ADC and others in that coalition? Or is the PDP canvassing for others to back its own candidate if eventually you're cleared by the courts?
No, it depends on the run of time. Now, if the run of time provides that PDP will have its own candidate, of course, we should be leading in the coalition.
Okay. Because
we are the leaders in terms of reach, in terms of spread, in terms of capacity, in terms of everything. We are the leaders. We are the people, the party that the people know. Anywhere you go and you talk about any political party, what you hear is PDP power.
Power
so we are confident.
All right.
That we will lead such a coalition. But if in the event that we are not able to surmount those challenges within the reasonable time, then of course we are going to support, we are all opposition. And as opposition, we are supposed to support a government that is putting our party in jeopardy.
All right, any word for Wike before you go? I mean, with all these multiple war fronts that he's opened. I think. And is there anything that you people are doing to assuage his own feelings? Because, I mean, look, he's bitter.
He's not a member of
You say you have expelled him, but he said he insists that he's still a member of your party.
No, he's not a member of our party. He is even claiming that if he leaves the party will collapse.
Yeah, I mean, isn't he entitled to be bittered with all that?
What we want him to do as a trier is for him to leave the party, so that let him see.
Yeah, but you say you've expelled him, so I mean.
But why is he still laying claim to it? We have expelled him, but he's still laying claim to it. He's still fighting for it. What he should do, he should go and make peace at home and with the party.
And you will accept him back?
Of course. The issue of the prodigal son, when you do something and you realize what you have done is wrong, and you come back and you say, Father, what I have done is wrong, please accept me. Oh, we'll say, okay, come.
Because I was asking those questions because in the light of what's happening in the APC, some people are saying that, look, if Wike does lose out and Fubara gets a second term ticket, there's a tendency that Wike may want to, turn the same heat against the PDP to the APC. So we don't know what eventually may happen.
What he's suffering from now is that he does not know the inner workings of the APC, what the president is thinking, what is the
because he's not a member.
Because he's not a member. Now, Nuhu Ribadu and Umahi went to Rivers to convey the president's message that the president is happy with you, Governor Fubara. Now, again, Fubara now took the APC
very quickly.
Yes, APC ticket, APC card, and say he's now a member and he's 001. Now, the likelihood is that Tinubu has given him the nod. If you join our party, then you can get your second term. But if you don't, you will lose your second term. So he joined the party, and now he's saying he's a progressive, and now he's saying that he is entitled to second term. And so he's going. Wike is fighting him, saying they are going to correct leadership mistakes. And he's saying that some people are backing, like dogs, So
very difficult scenario.
It is.
Well, we must thank you so much. Omar Sani is a former presidential media advisor and he's been joining us as a PDP chieftain, helping us to analyze all that's been happening within the opposition, especially the PDP front.